Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy, right here on ESPN LA 710 across the USC Trojans Media Network. I am Jordan Moore alongside Sean Cody and Cody Kessler and the head coach Lincoln Riley. Head coach interview is presented by iTrust the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Coach, good to talk to you coming off the bye week. You have a couple bye weeks this year. Was this a well-timed bye week? What were you guys able to accomplish?
Yeah, I think all buys are good. It's a good opportunity, no matter if it's after game 2 or game 4 or game 6 to look at what you've done, where you need to get better, have some time that you can really dive into it. I think this one for us this year in this moment was important just because of the health of our team. We have not been a very healthy team, honestly, really the entire year. And obviously, that's showed up here a little bit in the last couple of games. And so chance to try to get some bodies back, get some guys back healthy, was definitely one of the most important things. And then, it was a great chance for us here after 5 games to take some stock on the areas that we need to improve. And that was really the focus of the entire week. It was a heavy fundamental, I think, kind of just self-awareness, self-improvement type of week, and we pushed the guys, pretty hard, and then gave them a little bit of downtime, kind of here through the weekend to get batteries recharged, and the guys were excited to be back yesterday.
Coach, a little over a third of the way through the season, you mentioned, self-scout being a big part of bye week talk. What's your, overall take on how this first third started? Obviously, the tough loss to Illinois, but off to a quick start, and then you get some bye week action. So what's kind of the take of the first third there?
Yeah, there's obviously been a lot of good. We sit here, 4-1 and a snapping away from having all of them. But so there's a lot of positives. At each game's there's been different challenges. I think for us it was making sure that we really get back to the fundamentals. Blocking, tackling, finishing blocks, have the ability to break tackles, just kind of all of those different things. We spent a lot of time on that. We spent a lot of time on special teams throughout the bye week as well. And then I think each position group, each side of the ball certainly has a laundry list of things that, we know that we're going to have to do, better, and we're going to have to continue to improve on as the year goes on. And so, we spent a lot of time with the team on it, also doing a lot of just education on just different game situations, penalties, not some our own, but honestly kind of looking more across college football when you have a week when you're not just zeroed in on one opponent, where you can, really teach these guys, all right, hey, how's this being called this year? How's this being enforced? Here's this situation that came up in another game, and here's how we would handle it, and just trying to expose them and kind of educate them on just a kind of a football 101 type of mentality. So, There's a big list of stuff to get done, and it's nice just to have that week where you can just solely dive into that, and I think we're a better football team this week because of it.
Coach, going back to that Illinois game, Jade Mayava obviously had his first turnover in that game, and then the following drive missed a couple throws that I'm sure he would like to have back. But after that, he went 3 straight scoring drives in that type of environment, which was very impressive. He gave your team a chance to win there at the end. What did you learn from your quarterback and his performance a couple Saturdays ago?
Yeah, he had 2 tough series in a row, like you said. We were driving and then had the pick and then missed a couple of guys on the next series. But honestly, I wasn't very worried in moment, just because that's what he's done in all of his starts for us. Even going back to last year, is when he's had a stretch that maybe wasn't his best. Like he's always responded, and it did not surprise me one bit. He was fine on the sideline. He was mad that he missed a couple of those, but he was also, in a great place mentally. And so, we just came back out there and kept rocking and firing. And, I think he's done what he's done his whole time, although I thought, maybe even snapped out of it and was able to kind of right the ship, maybe even a little bit faster than in year one. And like you said, to be able to do it in that environment on the road against a good team, was big for our team. And, the guy – every time he starts a game, he gives us a chance to win. Every single game that he's played for us, he's played. He's given us a golden opportunity to win the football game. So that's, he's off to a great start in his career as a Trojan. And again, I just think the kid's going to keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
You're listening to USC head coach Lincoln Riley on Trojans Live. Coach, you've had to make an enforced change at center with Killian going down. John Ray Reed's played a lot of football, but nice timing-wise for the bye week for him, given how much communication is at that position, maybe chemistry along the offensive line? What's the biggest thing for swapping centers in the middle of the season?
Yeah, I mean, we're probably in as good a position to do it as anybody. It's not easy for anyone. I mean, centers this day and age, in every offense still, have a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And we're no different. So, but I think just the chance to pump like all of those reps into him, throughout the bye week, and then obviously all week this week will be very beneficial. As you said, he's got game experience. He's had a lot of reps with us here, throughout spring, throughout camp, and so now it's just becoming easier for him just every single day to communicate and operate our group. The guy's a good player. Like he can. When the ball snapped, he's a good player, and he had a lot of really nice snaps the other day against Illinois. But I think to just be able to, like I said, give him 70-80% of those snaps, and he's just getting really comfortable, communicating with our guys. Coach Hansen, those guys working with him. Killian's been great as he's recovering, kind of being right there with him, even the snaps that he's not in there. And so I think he's confident. I know we're very confident in him, and fortunate that we've got a second center there that we believe in as much as we do him.
Coach, defensively against Illinois is a struggle on the day. You're down, Kamari Ramsey, one of your guys going into it, and you give up over 500 yards. The pass rush has been great all year, wasn't able to get there. You give up a lot of yardage. What's the corrections and concerns after a defensive game like that where you got to, bounce back against a good Michigan team?
Well, it's don't give up. The big thing is don't give up 2 perimeter plays for, I don't know, whatever they ended up being, huge chunk yardage plays. I know the one, should have been a penalty and the league missed it. It is what 100%. It is. But you don't give those up. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a wildly different game, when that happens. And so, I mean, obviously it hurt us not having, one of the best safeties in the country that morning all of a sudden can't play. And so that was definitely a tough blow. I thought some of those young guys jumped in there and battled and did some really nice things. But we gotta leverage the ball correctly and tackle on the perimeter. I mean, that's what we have to do. And that's, we had the awesome thing was being able to create some of those turnovers in the red zone were obviously game-changing type plays for us, and it's cool to see the resilience of our group. But you got to do the fundamental stuff in terms of leveraging the ball on the perimeter, and we absolutely have to have a more impactful performance from our defensive front. We're capable of it. We had some bright moments the other day, but not as many as we expect, and so we've really challenged that group, and I'm looking forward to seeing them respond.
Coach, Mekhi Lemon is the real deal. And I might be biased, but I think he's the best wide receiver right now in college football. I'm a little jealous that I didn't get to play with him. And I said in the offseason, even with how good he played a year ago, he was just starting to scratch the surface of how good he can be. And people are starting to see that. How much easier does it make your life as a play caller to have a guy like Mekhi Lemon at wide receiver?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's not only a guy that, can make different plays and you feel like gives you some advantages, but he's a smart player too, and so the ability we have to move him around, to do different things, run different types of routes. He's a good blocker. We use him in a lot of ways to get him at the point of attack from a blocking standpoint. So, yeah, he's playing complete football right now, and guys like that, that you feel like, hey, we can use him in all these different ways. He can process it, he can execute it, he can make the plays when his number's called. I mean, it's that's what you work hard to develop, and when you have those weapons, it's fun to. It's certainly, designing it, calling it, all that certainly is a lot smoother.
In basketball, they use a term a lot these days, gravity. He'll talk about something like Steph Curry and his gravity on the floor. Doesn't even have to touch the ball. His mere presence shifts the defense around and opens up opportunities for other people. I was thinking about the other side and Jacoby Lane, who clearly seemed to be compromised in some way in that game, but gutted it out and gave you some snaps. How much does his just mere presence change the equation when he's out there on the field with Mekhi?
Well, he's a unique matchup out there, and people have to sit there and decide, am I going to commit 2 players to trying to defend this guy, or am I going to take my chances playing on one-on-one? And, that's typically a matchup that we like. And so, yeah, it does. It makes a difference. And, credit to that kid. He wasn't really even supposed to play a snap in that game, and that just kind of shows the warrior that he is. And so, hoping to have him back, kind of healthy and, a little bit closer to full speed, which would obviously be a great thing for our team and for our offense because he's got a presence in terms of kind of the coverage that he commands, but also just kind of his vibe and competitiveness is important for our team. He's just one of those guys that's a kind of a lightning rod. He's so full of energy, and when he's there, you definitely feel a difference. Not just, again, like I said, with the offense, but really with the entire program.
He made a huge catch against Michigan last year. He could get his chance on Saturday again. USC versus Michigan. It's presented by I Trust Capital, and the game will kick off at 4:30 on Saturday. Trojan Tailgate Show will go on at 2:30. NBC has the broadcast coverage. We will talk to Coach about Michigan next on Trojans Live. Ready to take it to the next level? Unleash the beast this college tailgate season with Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. And Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, a proud partner of USC football. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody Kessler, and the head coach Lincoln Riley getting you set for a big one. USC versus Michigan should be a special day at the Coliseum. And coach, this is really what the Big Ten merger or joining the Big Ten provides, right? I mean, you're just never going to get a Michigan to come to the Coliseum in previous years, and now you get this incredible opportunity on Saturday, and it should be a special day.
No, it should. It's one we've definitely been looking forward to. And our fans have been looking forward to. It's a great kickoff time. I mean, it should be an awesome night. So two iconic programs getting a chance to go at it, and obviously, as you guys referenced, we had a hell of a battle against these guys last year that went right down to the wire, and so really looking forward to it. I mean, I think when this whole merger with the Big Ten and all of that kind of came to mind, I think these were some of the games you thought about first. It's like opportunities that would not have happened without us joining this league. So, it'll be a cool meeting, a historic meeting, and I can tell you our guys are really ready for this one.
Coach, I'm sure Cody will get into how the offensively you guys are going to attack them, but defensively, you got a young quarterback in there who's playing pretty well, a great running game from the Wolverines. What do you see for them offensively where they can challenge your defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with the run game. I mean, their running back is having a really good year, especially, having the ability to rip off explosive runs. I mean, I think that's been, you'd probably say, the strength of their offense up to this point is, it seems like every game they're getting one or two just really big explosive runs, which has really got them going. And when you've got a young, although very talented, but a young quarterback, when you've got a good run game and a chance to break some of those big ones, it definitely takes a little bit of pressure off of him. So he's a good player, really good athlete, doing some good things there as a true freshman, and they've got obviously some really good players around him. So, but I think the initial part of the challenge is obviously their ability to run the football and create explosive plays in the run game that we'll have to do a great job defending.
Coach, being one of the best offensive minds in football like you are, I'm sure you have a lot of respect for great defensive coordinators out there. Michigan has one, and Wink Martindale, historic defensive coordinator. What type of challenges does he give you as a play caller, really an offense in general, when you go up against Michigan and Wink Martindale's defense?
Yeah, he's they do a really good job. They're smart, with the personnel that they have. They've got a lot of depth. You see them rotate a lot of different bodies, especially on that defensive front. They've had a couple of guys return in the secondary over the last few weeks, I think, that have really, really helped them. They're a really good defense. They are. I mean, they're a little bit different than what they were, last year from a personnel standpoint, and they're still very capable. Obviously, they had two highly elite players on the interior last year that I kind of felt like they, in a way, kind of built that defense around. But they're really good on the edge. They're still got some really good interior guys, so a lot of depth on that defensive front. They tackle well. And they've obviously played at a pretty high level this year. So and Wink does a good job. He changes looks up on you. When you watch him play, you can start to understand why they do the things they do, and they do a good job of. It's like they don't do too much, but they also do a good job of having enough change-ups to try to keep groups off guard. So, it'll be a fun challenge for us.
The first three Big Ten games were new opponents in terms of we didn't see them last season. Now you get a couple teams that you played last year, including Michigan, as we discussed. How does that change things for you guys as coaches when now there's a little familiarity? You went against each other last year. How does that change things a year later?
Yeah, I mean, I think schematically at times the chess match is just a little bit is a year down the road. And so, both teams obviously have the ability to look at, all right, well, how did we attack them last year? How did they try to attack us? And, people look at that, study it. It's probably just a different reference point that you have, compared to these others when, like you said, they're kind of the very first matchups and you're kind of filling each other out. So, I think both teams will take that into account, although, like I said, they're different on both sides of the ball, and we clearly are too. So I think that's kind of the fun in it as you go through these years and you have some of these same matchups with, same programs, same coordinators, some of the same personnel. Like, to me, though, that's kind of the fun of really getting established and kind of settled into conferences, that back and forth each year, and unique adjustments, and walking into a game where you know your opponent and they're going to know you a little bit better than maybe the first time around. So I think you got to relish that challenge and be ready to adjust and go let it rip from there.
Coach, bye weeks are, getting guys healthy and you self-scout, but a big part of it's recruiting. And I saw some pictures of you out probably in the high school scene, a local thing, getting around. What's it like to, still during the season, although the wear and tear of the season is getting to you, but still being able to recruit during the season? I'm sure that's a challenging aspect because you got to kind of switch gears to do those kind of things. Yeah,
it's not a bad change up just to, kind of get out of the office for a little bit and to get out and go to some high school, see some high school football. And obviously it's nice here because, for a lot of our coaches, myself included, all you got to do is hop in a car and ride down the road a few minutes, and then you can go see some of the best high school football in the country and see some future Trojans. And so, and going to so many of these games around here is great because, again, you walk up to a game and, you may have 10, 15, legitimate prospects that you're there really trying to view. So, we got to cover a lot of ground. The majority of our coaches, myself included, were here in state and local, and so it was great to do that. We got a few of the guys out of state to see a few of our commits. Got a lot of work done, and sometimes it's kind of a nice change up to just get out, watch somebody else play, kind of take that all in, and so I think we all enjoyed the chance to get out on the road.
Coach, home field advantage is a real thing, and it's such a factor, especially in the Big Ten. What's your message to Trojan fans coming to the Coliseum this Saturday?
Yeah, it's going to be crazy important. I mean, it is. I mean, I think you saw, even for all of us Trojans, all right, we're not playing last weekend, and you look across college football, like winning on the road's tough, and you saw it everywhere. You saw it. Some really good football teams go into some tough road environments and not be able to get wins. And so, your home field advantage, especially with the parity now in college ball and the strength of these leagues, especially the way that the Big Ten and the SEC have kind of started to elevate themselves, your home field advantage is really, really important because you know what you're going to face when you're on the road. And so, it's going to be an electric atmosphere. We know that. I know our fans are going to be ready to bring it, and our team is too.
And I wish it was Saturday already. USC versus Michigan, presented by I Trust Capital, will kick off at 4:30 at the sold-out Coliseum. The Trojan Tailgate Show will go on at 2:30 across the USC Trojans Media Network. Thank you to Coach. Coming up next, we're talking to USC offensive tackle Justin Talanu. He's next on Trojans Live.